about your boot camp experience, getting to boot camp and what it was like being in boot camp.
Well, I went in the Marine Corps. There was like 280 of us from Louisiana. And we got on a troop train, and we went up to Chicago, then across the United States from there. It was a recruiter's dream. Everybody seen all these Marines having a good time on that train, and they thought, boy, howdy, look at these Marines, these guys here are going to go to Korea, and they're having such a good time. And we was with staff sergeants and a couple of them master sergeants. And all the way across, we just had a big party. They were the nicest guys you ever been around. And as soon as we got into San Diego and that train went in, the big gates come in behind us. And they like clock, click, click. And they all, everybody was, but us, they said, shut up. And I mean, like, now, get off of this train. There's places for you to put your feet out there. You look on the ground, you'll see we've got a marker, you dumb son of a gun. And it was something. And then they marched us or drove us or like hauling cattle. None of us knew how to march, and they was trying to march us over to our barracks. And we each got a place to sleep and all of that. And you go to sleep that night, you just hope to heck you wake up, you're going to be home in bed. This has been a nightmare. You cannot believe. You're not really scared, you're mad at yourself more than anything. But everybody else is too. There was 280 of us in the same fix. But it didn't take but about a week or two, and we could drill pretty good. After they jumped on you and rolled you out of bed, when they come in with a Coke bottle around a garbage can and go, time to get up, boys. You know, we're going to beat the sun up this morning. And some of them a little slow getting out of bed, and they just pick up the mattress and they're out he rolls. And it's a long ways down to the floor if you're on the top bunk. Dang, you don't do that many times. After a while, you get to learning that's a cement floor when you hit. But it's quite an experience, really was. After about a month, you get, everything kind of levels off, and everybody there thinks they're going to go over the fence the next day, but you never do. And they let you get away with quite a bit of back and forth, fighting amongst yourselves. They didn't really bother with you doing that. That getting relief, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I know you got relief when you got to fight. It took you a while to get over it, but then you felt better. Then you fought almost every day. It was just something that was going to happen today. Somebody's going to do something. And they had smoking lamps back then. The smoking lamps on them, the smoking lamps off. And if it's off, you better not be lighting it up, you better not be puffing no cigarettes. And at night they'd come in and say, lights are out and the smoking lamp is off. And that's what they meant. You learned they got you pretty well trained after about 30 days. What I say goes, and what you say don't mean nothing, and what you think, absolutely nothing. So they make you all the way at the bottom, then they bring you back up. And by the end of 3 months, boy, they're bragging on you and look at you, how good you drill, and you get to sing songs going down the street, and throw your chest out, and you just feel you're going to make a Marine. Then you go to the rifle, then you go to the range and qualify. And you really feel sorry for the couple of them that didn't, because they had to run around. Oh man, it was terrible. But everybody, pretty well out of 280 of us, only about 2 of them didn't, because they had a whole bunch of boys there that had been messing with guns all their life out in them swamps and stuff, and there were all some pretty good shots in there.
What kind of rifle did you use?
M1.
M1?
Yeah. They had the 03s, 30-06 boat action, but they didn't have it for us. We had the M1s. And if you was a corporal at that time, they'd give you a carbine. And but it's not, I just didn't care for the carbine, to tell you the truth. You had a choice if you was a corporal. And the last 2 or 3 weeks in there, they made me a corporal, so I had the squad. There was 70 of us in a squad, I believe, something like that. So you take care of your squad, and you go to the mess hall and make sure everybody's there, and everybody gets to eat, and everybody gets to leave. And one thing I really like the best now, I can see it, we had a course on etiquette when you sit down to eat. Your fork, your spoon, your knife, and them boys had never, and I was with them, but you don't eat with your cap on, or a cover, we called them back then. When we was in the Marine Corps, it was a cover, and you take your hat and cover off when you eat. And it's still in me today. When I go to a restaurant, I got to take my hat off, because you just don't eat with a hat on. And you look around, you see all them people in there with caps on, and they just didn't go in the Marine Corps the same time I did, or you know not to do that, because they'd walk by and knock it off your head if you forgot. And part of your head would thump, they would really thump on you. And that was about we was 4 months in the Marine, in boot camp, but the last month, they let you unbutton your top button, and you could go to the picture show and go to the PX if you had any money. And you also got paid. So you had a little money, you go get cigarettes and soap and shaving gear and all that stuff. And so the last month wasn't near bad. Then a bunch of them went to Camp Pendleton. A bunch of them went to Air Base out in Florida. And that's where I went. I went to Florida to start with. I went there as a Marine Corps. I didn't even know they had airplanes, how stupid I was. But they said, yep, they do. And you're going to be a mechanic. So you go there and they teach you mechanicing at Naval Base in Jacksonville, Florida. And from there, I went to El Toro, R5D Squadron. That's a four-motor plane, and which the Marine Corps calls their planes R5Ds, R3s, two-motor Douglas tail dragger work plane. They use it like in Hawaii, and they got two of them there at Kaneohe Bay, which is a Marine Corps base only, and it's across from Pearl Harbor on the other side of the Pali, the mountain range. And you kind of on an island of your own on that side of the mountain. You go to the other island, you get in trouble. But that's where all the Marines we allowed to go. We had to, as soon as Liberty went, we went over the Pali. We had to get over to Honolulu, because they tell you don't go on Hotel Street. Well, you have to go down there and find out why. So everybody goes to Hotel Street. Then they find out why. But they rob you, take your money, or do something to you. But anyway, that's just the life experience, I guess, you go through. And I managed for almost 3 years, I managed a stables at Kaneohe Bay, Kaneohe Bay, and put in a big arena, and the bleachers, and I didn't do it. Public Works did all of this. And they also built a stable the way I wanted it. Stalls in it and feeders for the horses. And I had 19 head of horses there. And they were really used for dude string. The wives or anybody could come up, and I think they rented them for like 50 cents an hour. We had trails for them to go up on the side of the mountain and ride. And a lot of people just love to go ride a horse. It's a lot of fun if you had never done it before much. So then I'd go to the Big Island and buy horses to the Big Island in Hawaii, in Parker Ranch, and I'd go there and buy horses, or 2 or 3 or whatever I wanted to buy. I could go to the Ulapalakua Ranch, and that's on the island of Maui. And I went there quite a bit, because the man that managed it was named Oliver White, and he was from King's Ranch. And he'd been there many years and married a Hawaiian woman, beautiful woman. And everybody thought I was kin to him. They didn't, Billy White and Oliver White. And so when I had a day off, I'd go over and cowboy for them on the ranch. And hell, he give me and my wife and kids, he give us a big, nice home there. And so anytime we went over on the weekend, we had a place to stay. And they asked me, do you want to use a truck or a Jeep, or what do you want? Take whatever you want. They had them both there at the headquarters of the ranch. And It had about 10,000 acres and run over 10,000 head of white-faced cattle on that ranch when I was there. People don't realize what a big ranch they got in Hawaii, especially at Maui. But it was 20 miles from town to the ranch headquarters. When you went just about a half a mile, you went through a big gate and it says you're now entering the Ulapalakua. It took me a year to learn how to say the Ulapalakua. So, but anyway, I finally got that down. And then I came back to the States and then to El Toro. And El Toro managed the stables there. Excuse me. And I'd go to the horse and mule auction in LA and buy horses. And if we had a horse that kicked somebody or got a little ornery or something, I'd get rid of him, sell him, and I'd go buy another one. Nice, gentle horse that people could walk behind and don't have to worry about getting kicked or bitten or whatever. And we just took the edge off of them. I'd ride them and back then. And there's a rodeo club. Marine Corps has a rodeo team. And it was pretty lot. It was a lot of fun in the rodeo. I'd bulldog and ride bareback horses and whatever. And that's about my experience in the Marine Corps. I love the Marines. I tell you what, once a Marine, always a Marine. I don't care who you are or what you are. But life has a lot of different turns on it.